everyone, it is Sunday evening, the 23rd of August 2020, and I'm having a look at the commodities. I'm starting off with gold on the daily. So last week I spoke about the idea of there being this slight conflict between a bullish daily candle and of course the weekly and monthlies being a bit overextended. So we actually got a mixture of both. We've got to move to the upside and we've got to knock back down, and so what we currently have is kind of no real clear trend. Price is certainly trying to find support at 1900 and stay above that level. The weekly and the daily are potentially overextended. If I have a look at the monthly here, this nice little keeping in mind that we are not at the end of the month yet, but we've so far producing a bearish indecision candle. If it continues to complete this kind of shape or something more bearish like this, this could indicate that we could be entering in the next month or two a deeper pullback to the downside. So to go back to the daily, what I'm looking for this week is to see if we can maintain the bullishness, follow through on Monday, head back up for 2000 and see if we can break past that. Alternatively, if we do now fail to do that, we fail to break the high on Monday and instead we break the low, then it's reasonable for me to expect, especially if I have a look at the weekly, that price will now start to potentially go from 1900 down towards 1800, and then that monthly candle will start to complete as a more bearish candle. Silver is going to be a similar expectation. Just really having a look at it here on the weekly, we've got an inside bearish candle. Actually, it's not inside, I beg your pardon. It is bearish though, but currently the current candle is looking more indecisive and bearish on the weekly candle. What's wrong with me? So and so a break of the low of this could then indicate follow through similar to gold and start to head a little bit lower. Moving on to crude oils, starting with US crude. It's definitely struggling at this 43 level. Again, the bigger picture on the weekly is it is still within an area on the weekly and the monthly where price could potentially start to turn around and head down in terms of the longer term downtrend. So it was attempting back on the daily to break up, form almost a bullish breakout pattern and finish the week sort of a lot more bearishly. It's pushed up a little bit, closed a little bit bullishly. So what this really is a battle between buyers and sellers. The bears are kind of wanting to hit a little bit lower, let off some of that buying pressure. And there are still some buyers looking to get in at this rate. All right, so what I'll be doing with both US as well as West Texas, as well as obviously with Brent crude oil, is looking to see if we can get back over this level. But it is continuing to look weak, and it's been pretty lackluster going back into early June, late May. The bullishness has just trailed off and is now struggling with some local resistance at around about that 43 mark. And so if it does manage to get back over this level, then I would expect it to actually pick up pace and start to head up towards the $50 region with a little bit more gusto. At the alternatively, if on Monday it starts to break lower almost immediately, then I would start to see it head down towards the $40 mark, and this will pretty much apply across the board to the Brent crude as well. Moving on to cryptos, Bitcoin. They had an attempt to break out above 12,000 here, and actually you can see by looking at the weekly candle a little bit more of a bearish rejection here. It is overextended. Any kind of a break lower, it is still technically in an uptrend on the daily, but I'd like to see a break lower and see it start to head down towards these levels over here, lower levels, to take a bit of a breather. The monthly trend I don't expect to change anytime soon. Having a look at Ether, now having broken through resistance, coming back to potentially test this 390 level for support, but also at the same time producing this bearish candle here on the weekly. A break of the low that which we've already had as well would see this potentially have price pull back down towards 350, maybe even down towards 300 potentially. So what could actually happen this week across the board could see there are signs of a potential weekly kind of drop in commodities across the board, only because they all happen to be showing it. We've seen in recent weeks the markets have continued to push higher, produced a bit of bearish, some sort of slight bearish signals, and then kind of pushed on anyway. But again, they are producing, they're continuing to introduce these bearish signals. And so again, this week I am prepared for them to continue to head lower on the daily. And they're certainly finished lower in the week than I would have expected them to. So for me, I think the best opportunities might lie in the shorter term intraday opportunities, lower time frames, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, looking for these if they do start to break lower. At the same time, if they start to break through their local resistance on some of these crude oils, for example, then I'd be looking for those opportunities to the upside as well.